dad was in the military, so I was an Air Force brat. But my dad was also stationed at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock when I was little. So I went to kindergarten in Lubbock. And I used to remember driving past Jones Stadium way back when and seeing the big double T and always telling my dad, I'm gonna go to school there. And then we moved away and I hadn't been in Lubbock for many, many years. And then I would say my junior, senior year in high school, started looking at schools. It was a natural choice and it was close, far enough away from home, but close enough. So it was a good distance and I really loved my student career. I got very involved on campus and I was so involved that they, helped me kind of see where my natural strengths and where, those types of things were playing out. And then after graduating, I realized I lived a very sheltered life in West Texas, and I got to tech and it kind of opened up my eyes a little bit. And then I thought, well, where could I go that would just expose me absolutely to everything? And that's when I chose New York City. And was definitely experiencing culture shock, but was amazing. I started working at NYU on campus and really kind of leveraging all of the knowledge and skill sets that I picked up while I was at tech. I've been fortunate that I have worked at a lot of big name organizations. So worked at NYU, worked at Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Ernst & Young, Google. All of those organizations, everybody does have a huge focus on diversity and inclusion, but for the most part, it is a challenge in terms of just overall diversity, where you're looking at, low numbers of representation for Black and Latino and women. And so how do you really help people navigate through or around or over those systemic biases and be successful in their own right? And so that's really ultimately what I was doing at all of these organizations. But my biggest frustration was that we couldn't really scale the programs the way we wanted to because of various different, budget constraints or just bandwidth on the team or whatever it may be. So I decided to step out of corporate and just dive into becoming this brand new entrepreneur. And so we just took the name Beyond Barriers, kind of decided to take it to the next level. Little did we know that the pandemic was going to hit, but the silver lining was that many of these companies weren't prepared for what the pandemic created. And so now everybody's working from home. There weren't really programs that were digital or that created community or leadership development or any of those things. And that's what we had to offer. And so we found out that, just inadvertently, we launched the right thing at the right time.
Welcome to the Beyond Barriers podcast. If you're an ambitious woman who wants to advance in leadership, then this podcast is for you.
What our program does really is it helps women accelerate. And then our program extends over 6 months with an executive coach that helps them really step by step following this framework of helping them identify where it is that they need to strengthen their skill sets and learn the various career strategies in getting ahead. And so seeing these women transform and build relationships and leverage one another to help support one another and get through is absolutely fulfilling. We're in an age now of artificial intelligence, automation, and so you have to constantly be, learning. And so there's this level of agility that you've got to develop in order to stay ahead. And so really at the end of the day, it's practicing habits of what are the things that you need to think about, competencies that you need to develop, not just today, but what are you going to need tomorrow? What are you going to need in a year? But the thing about innovation, it's not just the technology, it's not just the processes, it's just humans needing to be innovative and accepting change and being comfortable with change, because sometimes we try to avoid it, right? Change is hard, but the more you do it and the more you practice and the more you are able to be agile, the more successful you're going to be.